This is our 7-figure business building. If you're listening as part of the podcast, then I encourage you to come with us live on Thursday night so you can get your questions answered and be a part of shaping the content. All right. Today, we're specifically going to talk about how to make your first $1,000 with virtual summits. We're going to talk about how to fill seats, and then I'm going to give you a warning. Now, the cool thing about everything that I teach you is I always give you an application and next steps, and today is no different. Out of the 5 different whys that we're talking about in this event, okay, there's more than that, but out of the 5 that we're talking about in this training, I am only focusing on revenue right now, okay? So I'm focusing on revenue. And one of the things we have to understand about revenue is what I like to call the sweet spot, okay? So what this graph represents is how much higher your price is. I probably should have put that on the graph, okay? So this x-axis is how expensive your product is. Book, whether it's a conference or anything like that, is how expensive it is. This y up and down axis represents how much profit you make. If you are listening to this as part of the Ladies of Wealth podcast and you're only doing audio so you can't see the video, I encourage you to go out to YouTube so you can see it. It says revenue example sweet spot. It's a chart that has the x-axis and the y-axis. And at the lowest price points, you see that you're not making anything, maybe because this bottom section represents the expenses you have to overcome, right? Because we're not just looking at, this says revenue, but I'm also looking at profit. Again, I should change that and make that profit, okay? So, but you find a price where you start to make some profit, and keep raising the price and you keep making more profit, and you keep raising the price and you keep making more profit. And then you get to this hump in the curve, and this top of the curve represents your sweet spot, because what happens after the sweet spot is you start to raise your price even higher, and now you start to lose profit. The reason that this is important for you is because there is a point at which you have saturated the price for the people that you are looking to have pay you. You raise up your price and you're going to make money. And what some people do is they say, oh, well, I raised my prices, made more money, so next year I'm going to double my prices. Well, maybe doubling your price might be on the other side of the sweet spot, and you might double your price. Now, if you look at the sweet spot, where's double to this? Double to this is down here. Okay. You might still make some more. Wait, let's see right here. That halfway point, I'm just using visual, so I'm not doing an exact match. That's about the halfway point to that. So that's here. Okay. So if I double my price point from here and take it to here, notice that I do make a tiny percent of increase on this particular chart, but you've got to find what the sweet spot is. I'm still making more profit than I was back here, but I'm not making as much profit as I could be up here at the sweet spot. Okay. So, and then here's what happens. Because we think, oh, well, look, I doubled my price and I'm making more money, I'm going to double it again. Well, guess what happens? Boom. You're way out here where my graph doesn't show, and your revenue drops way down. Okay. You have to find your sweet spot. And you say, well, JJ, I don't know how to find my sweet spot. How do I know how much to charge for my tickets? How much do I charge for the add-ons? How much do I charge for the VIP electronic swag? Or how much do I charge for the VIP classes they might get if they sign up for VIP? Like, I don't know how much to charge for that. Well, I would say do your market research and look at people who do what you want to do, and then see what they're doing. And then you have to evaluate your name versus theirs, so that if they are actually doing a really good job, but they have a big name, well, I'm amazing, but I'm not going to pull the kind of income that Tony Robbins pulls in. I'm not going to pull in the kind of speaking fees that John Maxwell pulls in. Okay. So I'm going to be realistic about that, and we want to be realistic about that. Okay. We want to be realistic about that. All right. But that's our sweet spot, and we want to understand where our sweet spot is as we are planning. And sometimes that's just trial and error, but you can also see it when you can see what other people are doing. Okay. We've talked about some sources of revenue like tickets, but there's all kinds of different streams of revenue. Okay. If you're putting together a virtual summit and nobody knows who you are, maybe you don't want to charge the speakers, but maybe you do. You charge the speakers, you can charge the attendees, you can charge for advertising, you could charge for swag fees. And I say here, virtual and physical swag fees, okay? You can charge for a virtual summit. You can charge to have a swag box sent to your next event, to all the people that want to buy your next event. And what can you put in there? You know, you can put things like really cool pens that you might have. You could put in there books that you've written. You could put in a whole lot of different things. You can get your speakers to send you things that you put in, and then you just need to make sure you charge enough to cover the postage. All right. That was my mistake the first time I did a swag box. I didn't realize that the Postal Service had gone up on their rates. And so I sold $40 swag boxes, and then to fill it was going to cost me a fair amount, but I wasn't trying to profit off the swag boxes. I was trying to put it chock full of stuff. Well, I didn't realize it was going to cost me like $20 to mail it. So you have to be careful about that. But if you do it right and you do your research and you actually go to the post office or the UPS or whoever you're using to mail it and go price that out beforehand, then you can set a price that will work for you and be a revenue stream instead of a revenue drain. Now you notice here it says virtual and physical destinations. Okay. If you're doing a virtual summit, it might seem strange to have physical destinations, okay? But what you could do is sell physical destinations as part of your summit. Like, hey, if you really liked this summit, you're going to love going to Greece with us for the next one. You know, you can sell into those kinds of things. So those are different revenue streams that you might be able to look into, okay? And remember, we just covered revenue. This is one of those situations where the why really does determine your path. And if you are looking for exposure or connections or credibility or to change lives or some other goal that you might have, make sure you come consult with me so we can chart a path forward for you. As you can see, I clearly don't have the time today to go through all of those revenue streams, but we will go through all of them in our follow-on workshop, okay? All right, before I tell you about the follow-on workshop, let me talk to you about filling seats, okay? Filling seats is a really touchy issue because sometimes we want to have, and again, this depends on your why you're having the event. This depends on your main goal. Sometimes we'd rather have a smaller, more intimate group because it's accomplishing another goal. Like we're trying to get connected to the people in the room, or we're trying to have people motivate them for great personal change, or we're trying to have some kind of, really experiential impact on their lives. You're going to have more experiential impact with a small Zoom of 20 people or a small Zoom of 12 people or a small Zoom of 8 people than you are going to have with a super large Zoom of 500 people. When you've got 500 people in the room, you can't even have the chat going really well because everybody's trying to connect with this person and connect with that person, and there's all the spam and nobody's paying attention, and the chat goes almost useless. So you have to really look at what it is that you want to do. And sometimes we stress out about filling seats without realizing that for every event that we are really led to put on, the right people will be in the room if we have done our part. Okay, so I'm going to show you some things that you can do for filling seats, but I don't want anybody wrapped around the axle on this. If you've done your part, and by done your part, I don't mean just put it on Facebook one time, okay? Now, also by done your part, I don't mean just throw $1,000 of a Facebook ads out on it, because that's probably also not going to be very helpful for you. All right. But done some of these things I'm going to talk about on the next slide, you should be able to get the people you need. And if you don't get the people that you need in the room that you need, then you might be marketing to the wrong audience, or it might not be for them. I've had events, I think it was like our 7th Building Wealth Together conference, our Women Building Wealth Together conference, whatever the last one we had in Shreveport. I had all these great speakers. I had all these great vendors, but you know what I didn't have? I didn't have a whole lot of attendees. And I was starting to stress a little bit, but I remembered the right people are always in the room. And so I told the vendors, hey, come on in. You can come into the conference. And I'm telling you, those vendors got more out of that conference than the paid attendees did. It was the right time and the right place and the right situation for people who still come back and tell me how blessed they were, how much that conference helped them grow their business to where it is today. So if you've done your part, don't stress about the butts and seats. Okay. I'll give you another example of a conference that people are still talking about today. I had our 2nd annual Building Wealth Together conference. So this one was, I believe it was in July of 2016 or 2015. Our 2nd one, we had a phenomenal speaker. You've seen his character played in movies like Jerry Maguire. Okay. He had a long layover in the DC area and agreed to speak at my conference at no cost. Not only did he agree to speak at my conference at no cost, but he brought a box of books and gave them away at no cost. This man's name is David Meltzer. He is somebody who's I've sponsored people to be in his coaching program. I'm in his coaching program. I don't go to it as often as I should, but I'm in his coaching program. And one of the things that I have found with him is he came into that conference and I was stressing because this is a multi-millionaire. He had millions, lost them, and made them all again. And he works with Warren Moon on their sports marketing page. And this guy is just a phenomenal individual. And for me to have him come to my conference and have not sold the tickets, I was stressing to the hilt because I had the event. And then we had our event planned for months. Somebody else in a group that I was familiar with, they decided to have their own event and they threw it together at the last minute, and it siphoned off a lot of our attendees because the weather was bad that day. And this is like the middle of summer, but there was like a hailstorm and all this other weirdness, and people didn't come. What we should have had 50 people come, I think we maybe had 10 or 12 or 15. And I'm now nursing a newborn. So I did my very first conference pregnant. Now I'm nursing a newborn. And so that's already embarrassing because when you're nursing a newborn, when they're hungry, they got to eat, and we couldn't get them to take the bottle. So I had my poncho and I'm just sitting there trying to work the conference and nursing. And it was so embarrassing because and I'm telling you, the man came in, they still talk about him 10 years later. And the way that he spoke changed how I speak and do all my keynotes to be far more relatable and far more effective. Okay. But I didn't have anybody in there, and I started to stress about butts and seats. And I was getting to the point where I was about ready to just give tickets away. And I tried one venue to give tickets away, and nobody even got a ticket. In fact, people emailed like, well, what, blah, 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 asking a million questions. And I'm like, dude, it's a free ticket. So I said, forget it. Just going to have to go with what we've got. Y'all, what we had was the magical number. I can't even begin to express to you how powerful that little conference was. And there was a mom who drove her son down from New Jersey. And David took the young man and went off, and they got like an hour of one-on-one mentoring. My conference, it wasn't for me. It was for that young man. It was for the other speakers who we all learned that day that we needed to step up in our game and not do the high pressure sales, but learn how to really connect with people. Sometimes what you're doing, you had your goal, but the real goal, the real reason the Lord put it on your heart wasn't that goal. And I'm going to give you one more word, okay? Because some of you out there, It's not, maybe not your virtual summit. I'm pretty confident you're going to at least have one person in your virtual summit because you're going to invite me. All right. But I'm not going to charge you because you're on my class. I'm not going to charge you. You listen to my podcast. I'm not going to charge you. Okay. But some of us are going to put together virtual summits. We're going to put together virtual classes. We're going to put together a mastermind. We're going to put together a Zoom. And you know what? Nobody's going to come to that first or second one. And you're going to be so deflated. I'm going to tell you right now, if that happens to you, it shouldn't happen if you follow what I'm teaching. But if that happens to you, despite doing all these things that I've been teaching tonight, teach your stuff anyway. Hold your conference anyway. I remember doing my John Maxwell Mondays before, up until when he started doing Maxwell Mondays. I did Maxwell Mondays for about 4 or 5 years. And during lunch break, I would teach something from John Maxwell. And a lot of times it was the scripts I received from the John Maxwell team. And then we had a healthy attendance, but there were times when nobody was there. There were times where I would have my first Saturday classes and nobody was there. And you know what I ended up doing? I ended up teaching it anyway. I would set up a phone and record it and teach it anyway. And in doing that, I grew. So don't despise small beginnings. Okay? If you do what I'm showing you to do today, you should have plenty of people in there. It should be a great event. It should be wonderful. But if nobody's there, if nobody comes to your mastermind, teach anyway, record it, analyze yourself later, and extract from that any good you can that you can use in your marketing or use to better yourself. All right. So filling seats. All right. Sometimes you want to have ads, you want to bring in vendors. Two of my favorite, one very common one is to create that sense of urgency, like, oh, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. Okay. But two of my favorite ways to get people in an event is to offer a VIP level, whether I create something special for them, mail them some cool swag or not. And affiliate marketing, affiliate or word of mouth. Word of mouth is just people telling. So a lot of times you can get ambassadors for your event, but affiliate now, once you have affiliate, that's taking it to the next level, because an ambassador who's spreading with word of mouth, if you're not charging for revenue and you don't have any to pay for it, it's great to use ambassadors who are going to highlight your brand for you in exchange for maybe some marketing collateral or an opportunity to greet the audience for a minute or something like that, right? If you are charging for tickets, one of the most effective ways I have ever found to sell tickets is to offer an affiliate code. What an affiliate code does is, if I give you an affiliate code for my next conference, which for Juneteenth, you can get one. Once you register for your ticket, you can get an affiliate code that you can now invite others. Okay. I give you your affiliate code link. This is so cool, y'all. I give you your affiliate code link. You post it on your social media. You send emails. You might even create a bit.ly and put it on postcards and hand those out to people. Every person who buys with your affiliate link gives you a percentage of the sales. Now, most of my courses, the affiliate percentage is about 50%. It's 25 to 50%, depending on the course, depending on the summit, depending on who's coming. And I always offer this to all of my speakers. Hey, even if it's a free summit, even if it's a free summit, we can sell the VIP packages, and if people come in for free, but they upgrade for VIP because their favorite speaker told them to, or if that speaker brought in people from their audience using their affiliate fee and they pay $100 for my VIP upgrade, they just made $25. I got a lot of things in that sentence. Let me say it again. Okay. If my speaker at this event takes their affiliate code and shares it with their audience, it could be a free event with free tickets. If that audience member upgrades to the VIP, now the speaker gets the affiliate cut of what that person in their audience bought. And so if it was $100 ticket, that speaker just earned $25. And one of an even more effective way to do this, y'all, We all like to do the freemium model, free 99, get in here for free, and then we'll upsell you. But sometimes it can be more powerful to have a paid model and then allow your speakers with their affiliate code to tack on a coupon code that makes their audience, their friends and family, be able to come for free. So then they come for free, and then if they upgrade, you see what I'm doing here? They get the coupon code that makes their cost zero, but then they upgrade to the VIP, and now that speaker made money, you made money, and the audience member has an upgraded experience of your event. That's a triple win, y'all. You know I love the win, win, win. Okay, so those are just some things that you can do. I really do like affiliate marketing when you can afford to do so. I do want to warn you about something that really ends up tripping people up who start their virtual summits. I've already warned you about don't spend a whole lot of money on products and services that aren't going to help you. Okay. So that's a big warning. Once you decide you want to do this virtual summit, it's like your intention went out into the ether, and all the vultures and the buzzards are going to come in trying to pick away at your profit and more importantly, distract you from doing what needs to be done to push the program over. I've lived that. I sometimes still do. I'm a work in progress, just like you, right? And so I understand that that's easy to have it happen, but you have to watch out for it, because yes, this program, lifetime access, you'll be able to, put calls for speakers out, and you're gonna be able to do this and do this and do that. And then you find out, oh, I just spent $700 on this thing, but in order for the speakers to use it, they got to create an account on this guy's platform. Well, I could have just done a call for speakers with a Google form. Maybe Google is not your jam. Maybe you like Jot form, and you're like, well, I'm going to upgrade, and it's only $30 a month, and it's only $30 a month. If you don't if you don't bet on yourself, nobody else will. Go big or go home. Next thing you know, you've spent all this money that even if you do make a little bit of profit, that you haven't got anything to show for it, because as soon as you made the money, it's gone. Okay. So that's warning number one. You want to watch out for that. The other thing that you want to watch out for is you want to watch out for wolves in sheep's clothing that say they're going to help you. Now, I already alluded to this earlier. I was participant in a virtual summit that flopped. I didn't know it flopped until they invited me to be on the planning for next year, because I had done a really good job. People really liked my talk. And while I got on the planning for the next year, turned out it flopped. They lost a lot of money on it. But you know what they decided to do to try to recoup some of their costs? They decided to create a whole training session on how to host a virtual event. And I'm like, ain't nobody going to buy that. Y'all, they charge like $250 a pop for it. And it sold like wildfire. And so all these people bought this course. I don't know of anybody that actually created one based off of it, but all these people bought this course about how to do virtual summits from somebody who failed at doing virtual summits. And I'm not going to be uncharitable today. I'm a professional speaker. There's a lot of professional speakers out there. We all have our different things that we do to help make money and increase revenue streams in our businesses. But I find that a lot of people who flop will teach you how to do it and never actually get down to the nitty-gritty of telling you how they flopped. And they'll tell you what to do, but they won't give you the goods on how to do it, because they honestly don't know. They're regurgitating to you what they paid for somebody else's class, and it didn't work for them, but it sounded good to them, so they're going to give it to you, and now you're going to lose time and you're going to lose money. Don't lose time and lose money. Stay focused on the goal. If your goal is to make money, don't spend what you haven't made. Now, if your goal is to make money and you've got a seed starter savings to make money with, okay, fine. You got $200, you got $500, you got $1,000, you got $10,000, whatever it is for you that you're going to use as seed money, put that in your budget. Make sure that you've got it accounted for. Make sure you have it saved up, and then plan what you're going to spend on. I need this much for the Zoom. I need for the enhanced Zoom with more people. I need this much to acquire the cool pens I'm going to send to everybody in their swag bag or their swag box. I need money for t-shirts to do that initial order so I can show them what it looks like. Like whatever it is that you want to do, make sure you plan it out beforehand, so that you are not caught up and swept into, oh, this is going to be great. Oh, this is going to be great. And I love it. I love when I talk to marketers on the phone because they are so good at what they do. And I was talking to one guy, and the next thing I know, he had me making $50,000 a pop at this thing. And I thought to myself, now, wait a second. I have spoken at other people's virtual summits enough to know I am not making $50,000 out of these people, y'all. And that person so I didn't do what they were wanting me to do. But when the push came to shove, I noticed that even on their own channels, even in their own Facebook group, they had 1, maybe 2 views. Whereas if you look at my virtual summits, we've got thousands of views. I think our highest grossing one was our highest number was either Juneteenth from last year or the Chicago year, or it was a Ladies of Wealth one. One of them, we got like 10,000 views in the first day, you know? And so as opposed to this other person who's trying to sell me on $50,000 and I'm going to make all this money, and they had like 1 or 2 views, period. Dot. I want you to consider learning from me, someone who has 10 years of winning at virtual events, okay? Someone who is there on your side and is ready to show you the good, the bad, or the ugly. If you want to dig more into virtual summits, I want you to text "I'm in" to 254-454-HOPE. And when you do that, I'm going to add you to the wait list for the same class that we advertised last week. How to build a business in just 2 hours a day. We already got initial people registered at our super special deal last week. And now you can come into this class and be registered for a very super special price. The final price for this is going to be $99. But if you text "I'm in" tonight, your price is only going to be $19 when I invoice it. Okay. So I've still got to finish creating the course and figuring out which layouts and things we want to use and how we want to proceed forward. And most of that heavy lifting is done. I just need to finalize that in the next couple of days. But you want to get in before I finalize all that. Because once I finalize all that, guess what? The price is going to be $99. And so you want to text "I'm in." If you're going to come in, you're going to come in for $19, and you are going to get the value ladder workshop that we talked about last week. Okay. You're going to get the value ladder workshop that we talked about last week. You are going to get the I don't even know what I'm calling this. You're going to get the what you can do analysis. I know that's not the official name. I forget what I wrote down that I was going to call it. Something really cutesy, right? But that's what it is, the what you can do analysis. We're going to actually sit down and look at what it is you're trying to do. We're going to look at whether or not you've got your purpose refined and what steps we can work on together to do that as a preparatory for the event. And then when we get to the event, we're going to do the value ladder together. We're going to create your value ladder and create some products for you. And then with you, not for you. And then we're going to also look at the what you can do model and figure out what some good next steps are going to be for you. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work with everybody in the room to put together a virtual summit. And you will say, well, I don't need to do a virtual summit for my business. But if you've been trying to grow your business, if you've been playing it in your comfort zone, a virtual summit is a great way to get out of your comfort zone. So I am not asking you if you're listening to me, you're already in, you might be like, wait, I don't want to do a virtual summit. I'm asking you to do a virtual summit with me because it's going to push you outside of your comfort zone and it's going to unlock new opportunities. It's going to push you outside of your comfort zone and it's going to unlock new opportunities. All right. All right. And so I encourage you to do that again. You can text "I'm in" to 254-454-HOPE. And that way you will be able to participate in what we are doing. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. If you are listening to me again as part of the Ladies of Wealth podcast, I hope you've enjoyed what I have presented with you today. And I hope you will text I'm in and join me for this class. Once we get the course fully built out, all the people who are in, we will invoice everybody who needs to be invoiced, and then we will collectively pick the best couple of dates to cover this material. I'm realizing that this is not going to just be a one-day thing. It's actually probably going to turn into a 2 or 3 day thing, because I have so many more things I want to share with you. Next week will be real estate, but the week after that, we're going to be our empowered entrepreneur. And that's also going into this course package. And so it's going to be really phenomenal. It's going to be unlike anything else I've ever put together. And you are going to grow. You are going to double your income. You're going to double your influence. It's going to be amazing. And I can't wait to see you do it. And I'm excited to be a part of your journey as you do. Bye, y'all. I'm JJ. Thanks you. I'm JJ Conway. Thank y'all for watching, or if you're listening as a podcast, thank you for listening. Y'all take care and be blessed.